America, FBI and CIA agents, and fellow cult members. Welcome to Culture Club USA. I am Debrava. In today's episode of Culture Clips, we'll see what happens when three liberals walk into a bar, but only one doesn't realize that the code has switched. Okay, this clip features Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks, Democratic operative Destiny, and left-wing cultural commentator David Pakman in a heated debate of the current state on the Democratic Party. You ready? Let's dive in.
So to get us into this conversation, we recently did a poll on our YouTube channel, Unscientific. Does the Democratic Party need to move left or right, or is it fine where it is? 47% of our audience said Democrats should embrace left-wing economic populism and move further to the left. 44% either said that the Democratic Party is perfect the way it is, change nothing, or should move further to the center, deal with issues of crime and immigration in a way that more resembles the way the right talks about it, etc. I think to start with, I just want to hear about your reaction to that and which direction sounds like it's the one we need to go in.
Now, just mind you, I want everybody to be very clear. This poll was taken on his YouTube channel. It's not a poll that was taken for the general population. Get it? So you're taking a poll about the left within the far left. Got it? Okay. I digress.
So, David, I know those questions are rough and it's hard to phrase them exactly right, but I think that you put two different things into one question and then hence it becomes misleading. So let me break it down for you. I think that there are three different parts of the Democratic Party now, and they're usually called two different parts, but that's very wrong. So there's the establishment part. I think that's basically the part that Destiny supports. Rah, Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, corporate Democrats who will deliver 5 to 10%, and then you're supposed to kiss their ass for it and go, oh my God, you changed my life so much. And
oh my God, it is so weird. It is so weird to see this new, revised, remastered version of Cenk Uygur. Rah, Hillary Clinton. I mean, didn't he love Hillary at one point? Wasn't he like all about that? I mean, it's so odd to see him so center or far right center. I mean, it's just odd. I just had to say that.
And it's nothing but propaganda. They do basically almost everything the donors ask them to. That's the loser wing of the party. Now, when you go to the
loser wing of the party, nothing but propaganda. My God, it sounds like he's speaking of himself 6 months ago. It's just so weird.
Progressive side, everybody just goes, oh, progressives. But wait a minute, there's two very different camps in there.
Yep.
There's the camp that's Bernie 2016 that I'm in. That's economic populism, left-wing populists. And then there's the identitarian left, which is go maximum on crime doesn't exist. Trans people should be able to play in any professional sports they like, free surgeries for detainees, on and on and on, right? Clearly the popular wing, and by the way, this is not a matter in dispute. You can just look at the polling. So the identitarian left says defund the police is going to poll really well. Latinx is going to poll really well, except it doesn't. It polls disastrously, right? And the corporate wing says, oh, me kissing the ass of corporations is going to poll really well. And it doesn't. It never does, right? But when you look at the populist left, you've got paid family leave, you've got $15 minimum wage, you've got lowering drug prices, on and on and on, universal health care. They all polled 2/3 or higher. So why not do the thing that's popular? So this is, and of course, there's a reason why they don't. And it's because the whole thing is built on money. I mean, the first thing that Joe Biden took out of
Well, first of all, he just said, why not do the thing that's popular? That's what he's doing right now. Okay? He's doing what the popular thing is. That's getting his behind out of the far left and deep into the center, even bordering right. Okay? And you know what? Money. Money is money. Cenk, money is money. And we know that's what you're chasing. Okay? Because you got a lot of it too.
Money. I mean, the first thing that Joe Biden took out of the first COVID relief bill was the $15 minimum wage. He was lying about it from day one. The reason you don't do any of that is because your donors ordered you not to do that.
Destiny, about to that point, Bernie Sanders said shortly after the election, I'm paraphrasing, of course, the working class abandoned Democrats because Democrats abandoned the working class. Do you think there's truth to that critique from Bernie?
No, of course not. I mean, like again, the reality is incumbent parties all over the world lost. Like in every single country, the incumbent party lost vote share, lost seats in parliament, lost their elected leaders. I mean, like it was a referendum on inflation worldwide. We all felt it. And inflation is the thing that you feel the cumulative effects of. So there you go. I mean, like when has there ever been a president in recent history that's been better for labor than Joe Biden?
I mean, first of all, before he goes any further, I mean, what drugs is this guy on? Seriously. First of all, what kind? I mean, everyone feels inflation. I'm just saying. I mean, he's definitely tweaking on something. I mean, nobody's jaw moves like that when they're talking. Never seen anything like it. Okay, I digress. Let me reel it in a little bit. He's just so distracting to watch.
Inflation is the thing that you feel the cumulative effects of. So there you go. I mean, like when has there ever been a president in recent history that's been better for labor than Joe Biden? And is Trump going to be better for labor than Joe Biden or Kamala Harris would have been? Like there's no policy foundation in that.
Hold on. Did he just say what president would be better than Joe Biden for the work guy? I mean, whoa. Joe Biden let in millions of illegal migrants, okay? Millions of illegal migrants that took away and forced competition for the working class person here in the United States of America. How is Joe Biden, what president could be better than Joe Biden for the working class American? I mean, is he out of his mind? He's tweaking. It's the drugs. He's confused.
There's no policy foundation in that statement. And then to Cenk's point, I guess like this is the eternal mystery for progressives is that, and I've argued with somebody on this, their candidates are supposedly the most popular, just nobody knows it yet. And all the positions that they have are the most popular positions. Then why do their candidates lose all their elections? Even when they're outspending opponents, they lose their elections. Why? Where are all of these progressive candidates taking Congress by storm that are so popular and have all these popular positions?
Well, he's got a point there. Cory Bush lost. What else? I mean, there's a bunch. They're all losing. Jamal, I think Bowman or something like. I mean, he's right. I can't believe I'm agreeing with something that came out of Destiny's mouth, even with the tweaking. He's right. They all lost. None of them won. Okay, Cory Bush. I mean, nobody wanted her. So I mean, I digress. I mean, let's see what else. He's got it. Okay, I can't.
And then I'm curious what Cenk will say, but I will head off one response because I know it's going to be, well, that's because the party's opposed to them and the corporate donors. The party hated Donald Trump when he ran in 2016. Republicans hated Donald Trump when he ran in 2016.
He's right about that too. I can't believe I'm saying something else that Destiny would agree on. Everybody hated Donald Trump. I mean, I can't believe he talks like this. I'm sorry. Okay, let me reel it in, okay? He's right. In 2016, when Donald Trump won, he had the House and the Senate. They stopped everything. He couldn't get anything done. Okay? He couldn't get a thing done. He couldn't finish the wall. His own party stopped him from building a wall. So Destiny, yeah, he's right. With or without the drugs. Yeah, he's on point.
It wasn't the billionaire class and it wasn't the donor class. He genuinely got a lot of support from the party and he eventually rose up through the ranks and he became popular and he became the nominee. And I think that if there was a progressive candidate, they could at least be winning their local races. But I mean, I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, Cenk, you're shaking your head. How do you see it?
Yeah, so first, I love talking about worldwide elections because I think it goes to exactly the point I'm making. Candidates that are for the status quo are losing everywhere. What the voters are doing is voting for change and voting for populism. And so that is your Rosetta Stone. That will tell you if the right winger or the left winger is going to win. People on the left, we've been fighting against this ideology for decades. But now our leaders have been co-opted by the donor class, and they say the same goddamn thing. And that's why we're losing these elections. It's not a matter of whether Donald Trump is better for labor than Kamala Harris. Of course not. But the question is, in the primary, is a candidate like...
See what I mean, though? See what I mean about Cenk? He pretends to lean to the right now. And he's sitting here saying how, Democrats have lost it. They did it themselves. But then he sits here and says that is Donald Trump better for the economy than Kamala Harris? Of course not. Of course not. I mean, is he nuts? See, that's when that little bit of communist leftist Cenk slips through the cracks because he forgot. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know.
Donald Trump is better for labor than Kamala Harris? Of course not.
Of course Donald Trump is better for labor than Kamala Harris. I mean, come on. He proved it his first 4 years in office. Are you kidding me? Let's not forget, Kamala Harris was still the vice president. We know what she's about. And it sure as heck wasn't the middle class. It was about the elites. It's a global thing.
But the question is, in the primary, is a candidate like Bernie Sanders better than Hillary Clinton or Kamala Harris on labor? And the answer is obviously. I helped to co-found Just Democrats. We launched it on the Young Turks. And everybody told me there's like, maybe you'll get one. Maybe you'll get.
Of course, Bernie Sanders is not any good. He's a socialist. Bernie Sanders is a straight up socialist. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Socialism is socialism, okay? Has nothing to do with working class people here in the United States of America. We're about opportunity, not socialism.
Like, maybe you'll get one. Maybe you'll get one. We got 11 people rejecting corporate PAC money into Congress. It was stunning. And we had one of the most stunning political upsets literally in American history when AOC beat Crowley. And we did that with almost no money, okay? So even with overwhelming odds against us, anything that is remotely just a 5% fair playing field and we win. Imagine if we had the party infrastructure with us rather than against us.
So Destiny, address any of that you want, but specifically Cenk's answer to your question about why aren't the progressives winning if the ideas are so popular that Cenk said, which is when Bernie got into the 40s, the entire apparatus gets aligned against him.
You can have elections where the progressives are spending a lot of money and there's always a reason. It's either a new corporate donor or a new media is being biased or a new whatever. You know, all the media hated Trump. That didn't stop him in 2016. The Republican Party hated Trump. That didn't stop him in 2016.
All that's very true. All that's very true. Now, is he reading notes or something? What is he doing? Like this guy, look, he's reading notes. Come back in, reading the notes again, reading. What does he do? Take notes while they're all talking? I have to say, though, what he just said is true.
The Republican Party hated Trump. That didn't stop him in 2016. I think that at some point, like progressives will have to understand that it takes more than just, screaming about the most leftist populist policies ever to get elected. We talk about like the world had a referendum on neoliberalism. No, it was just a referendum on incumbent parties.
And you need better candidates, Destiny. I'm helping you along now. See, I'm on your side now for once. No, you need better candidates, okay? You can't just put idiots in office and try to run and think that it's going to work. You have to have candidates that are savvy. You got to have people like you, but minus the drugs. You know what I'm saying? Minus the drugs.
Like, where are they? Why are they not taking over Congress? Like, where are all of these people in Congress? We had the Justice Dems that came in originally, which was awesome. But there was, I don't remember this exactly, but I remember I looked up the stat because they went from saying that like only 10% of our candidates won to like 90% of our candidates. The Justice Dems went from supporting, I think, like 70 plus candidates one season to the next election cycle, like 6. If there was so much of this populist energy, why aren't they being elected everywhere? Like, they're still representing a minority opinion in the party.
Destiny, I want to stick with you for a second. Before the election, you tweeted, if Kamala ends up winning, the entire far left, the commies, tankies, Hamas supporters, etc., need to be effing jettisoned from the party. We don't need them to win. We can turn out our own base, and they are an absolute effing cancer to be associated with. Given Trump's victory, and whatever it means to you, do you stand by that?
Yeah, 1,000,000,000,000%. I think that having to answer for... Having to, well, but I represent far more of the party than the far left.
Apparently you don't. Apparently you represent the loser wing.
You can the loser like every progressive candidate.
And so did Cenk like 6 weeks ago. Just saying.
That is running in all of their elections that are being tossed. They lose their primaries. They lose their actual elections. Like they're losers. They're by definition, they're losers. The issue is that one is the lefty media sphere will never, ever support a candidate that is electable in the mainstream. They just won't. They turned on Bernie Sanders and they turned on AOC. Even those people aren't far left enough for the insanity that is the far left online now. So trying to kowtow to this like group of people who want to see like an actual communist or like this like anti-capital.
Look at Cenk. I mean, everything that Desi's saying is actually true. Cenk is like literally just reinventing himself right in front of our very eyes. I mean, it's like, what is this? Who are you, Cenk? I mean, this is ridiculous.
Anti-capitalist or this like just somebody that's too far left that most European countries probably wouldn't even support in leadership. It's just an unrealistic proposition.
Yeah. So lots of thoughts here. First off, why could Trump overcome it and Bernie couldn't? You're leaving out the fact that Trump was an enormous celebrity and they literally gave him over $1 billion in free media as he was running on the Republican side. Whereas Bernie
is a communist that went to Russia. What is he talking about? He's just making stuff up to make sense in his right-wing mind now as he goes. I mean, what the heck?
Side. Whereas Bernie Sanders got in his miraculous run to catch Hillary Clinton that started in 2015, where he went from 1 point to basically about 48 percentage points. ABC covered him for 7 seconds, the whole year, 7 seconds. So that's what mainstream media does, because they're literally corporate media. They're multi-billion-dollar corporations. So they hate actual populists like Bernie Sanders, fake populists like Donald Trump. Oh, it's a clown show. We're having fun. Give him a couple of $1 billion in free media and see how it turns out.
That fake populist, Donald Trump, okay, cleared the table, okay? He won every swing state and took it with a landslide, really. Okay, even with your cheating. What is he talking about?
Media and see how it turns out. Well, it turned out very poorly. And there's a conflation here between mainstream media and left-wing media. So what's the media supposed to do? Now, online media, corporate media is going to corporate media. They're always going to tell you whoever takes the most donor money is the greatest. They're leading the race with $1 billion in bribes. Bravo, bravo, terrific job, corporate Democrat, corporate Republican. And remember, guys, Trump beat the corporate Republicans. Like, you guys make it seem like, oh, hey, people are in favor of Republicans or their voters are still. No, their voters rejected their corporate wing. And you know, it came with a lot of baggage we're not happy with, right? But you have to give them a little bit of credit for actually not for supporting Trump, who I think is a fake populist, but for at least rejecting Mitch McConnell, rejecting all those guys. So on our side, we say, oh, Mitch McConnell took $1 billion in corporate money throughout his career. Terrible, evil, corrupt guy. Nancy Pelosi took a same $1 billion from very similar donors, did exactly what they wanted, just like Mitch McConnell. Terrific, angel, wonderful. Yeah, you could think that, and you could do all the marketing in the world for rah, Nancy Pelosi. But at the end of the day, the American people woke up and they know that the $1 billion, whether it goes to a Republican or a Democrat, is corruption defined.
I mean, Nancy Pelosi must have kicked Cenk off the payroll. Because, I mean, is he nuts? I'm just saying. I mean, this is like crazy, some of the stuff coming out of his mouth. These are the people that he, bowed down to. For real. As if we forgot so quickly.
Destiny, go ahead.
I mean, there's nothing to say. Like, progressives have nothing to show for the record. They have like that polling, like that 70-80% of Americans support single payer. That's not true. We've done the polling on this over and over and over again. If you poll in the most favorable manner, they support it. If you poll for what it actually is, that support plummets to like 25%.
That's not remotely true.
It is absolutely true. I don't remember if it was
You're arguing against Democratic policies. It's amazing. Why don't you just join the Republican Party?
Trump is as populist as they come. He is one man against the system who's telling you that he's going to fight and take it all down as one person against all the corrupt donors and everything else. This is as populist as they possibly come. Populists become dictators. This is what populism is. It's the precursor to things like fascism or authoritarian regimes. You always get these like strong white men.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. Do things that are unpopular.
I mean, he's winning elections on it, so yeah. And then
go ahead, Destiny.
I was just going to say, you ruined my train of thought. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Somebody get him an Adderall.
Sorry.
The last thing I wanted to ask
Pakman
about.
ruined my train of thought. So,
the last thing I wanted to ask about involves sort of both of you on Twitter. Cenk, you kind of went mega viral for responding to Elon Musk and saying, hey, put me in charge of slashing that Pentagon budget. Elon actually replied. He asked for suggestions. Don Jr. replied something like, this is being considered, or it was considered. Destiny, you responded to the entire thing by saying sigh, S-I-G-H. I think my first question to you...
And by the way, David, all right, Fudge Pakman over here, I mean, he annoys me to no end. That just proves, what you just said, David, just proves that Trump's team, as well as Trump, because it trickles down, get that right, will meet with anyone and hear any side. Unlike your party, okay, who will have nothing to do with an idea from the right. Think about it.
My first question to you, Cenk, is, do you think they genuinely want to cut defense spending, or this entire Department of Grifty Edgelords thing is just really about cutting social programs at the end of the day? Or do you really think the Pentagon is something they would cut?
So let's look at this conversation, right? So first of all, why do I call Trump a fake populist? Because he goes rah-rah average man, which I think is smart political strategy, because he's focusing on things that are popular. That's what populism is. Wow, that's rocket science to figure that out, is the correct electoral strategy. But then when he gets in office, what's his number one priority? Corporate tax cuts and delivering for his donors like Miriam Adelson. Now, on cutting...
I mean, first of all, I can't stand this conversation about corporate tax cuts, okay? Like, if the corporations aren't being taxed to death, they have more money. That means they hire more people, they output more stuff. That means the economy goes up, we make money, they make money, America's great. I mean, they know this. They know this, but they're going to keep on going with it. It's just unreal.
I'm asking is, do you guys really mean it? And so if you really mean it, most of the corruption's in the Pentagon. So that's where all the pork goes, because if you question that pork, they go, you're endangering our national security. You're putting all of our lives on the line, et cetera. So they stuff it full of pork. So I said, look, guys, if you're going to do cuts, let's start at the Pentagon. I can cut $400 billion overnight for you. And what it's doing is putting them to the test. Do you really mean it or don't you? And so a couple of surprising things happen from there. First of all, if you look at my comment section, right-wing populists actually do mean it. So this is going to be really, really interesting. So then Elon and Don Jr. say, yeah, we mean it too. And they follow through on at least one of the proposals that I mentioned, which was, hey, a lot of these contracts go to these defense contractors because the generals...
By the way, the Trump administration and Trump, I don't know personally, but they are listening. They are having a conversation with Cenk Uygur. Can you imagine? When did Joe Biden and his administration ever give Cenk Uygur this much time or even one opportunity to speak to them about things that could make America better? Funny, huh? Funny how that works. Now, who's the dictator here? I'm going to go with the Biden administration. Yeah.
Defense contractors, because the generals, after they retire, go to work for those defense contractors. And that gives them an incentive to sell us out and to buy all these bloated programs, because they're literally going to get paid by those same companies. And if they say, yes, you're right, which is where they are today, and we should stop that, so that conflict of interest, well, that's a left-wing position that we've been arguing for 20 years. I'll take it. That's fantastic. And that's the unity that mainstream media pretended that they were in favor of, but only when they were doing corporate deals for tax cuts for the rich, et cetera. Now we have some potential actual unity. At the same time, I'm not a sucker. I've been in this game a long time. So is it possible that they don't cut the Pentagon and instead they cut social spending? Of course, that's more likely, right? But at least the very first conversation we're having online about what to cut is the Pentagon. Perfect. You can't ask for anything better from the left-wing populist way of looking at it.
So, Destiny, tell us about the reason for the sigh.
Again, just quickly, that just everything he's saying, and the fact that the Republicans, Trump's administration, are actually hearing him out just proves that which party has common sense. I'm going to go with right now the Republican Party. Yeah.
Destiny, tell us about the reason for the sigh. Is it that you think Cenk's being naive, that they're not really going to cut, or that he's barking up the wrong tree here?
I don't think they plan on cutting. I don't even like the conversation. I feel like there's so many issues I have with this. When progressives and really with anybody talks about taxes or anybody talks about budgets, like the conversation, people always talk about like taxes, like they're either this like tool of punishment or self-flagellation, or it's like this noble way of... What do you want to cut? Like, let's talk about that. Was the F-35 program a mistake? Do we want to have, no military presence around the world? Do we shut down all of our bases? Do we want to have no more funding towards any type of participation? They're like, what do we actually want to cut?
I mean, if that's true, and they'll consider cutting something because Cenk's bringing it up, isn't that a reason for him to be involved rather than saying, this is a waste of time? I don't know.
I actually, just to be clear, let's be clear, because I just thought about this. It isn't the Republican Party talking to Cenk. It's Donald Trump and his team. Let's be clear. It's Donald Trump that's hearing Cenk out. Just saying.
I mean, I just hope that people are aware of what... I just need people to be aware of what's going on. Like if you get they managed to cut $50 million from the military budget, and that money, was like all earmarked for the VA or something. Like that's not a good thing, right? Like we want, we want something. I wish that people just spoke in policies more rather than Well,
Donald Trump has spoken in policies by his actions. Okay, Donald Trump, when he was in office, did a lot for the VA. I know that for a fact. Okay, Biden, not so much. Cut, 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 cut. That's how Democrats take care of the people who take care of them. Let's be real. We're talking about veterans here. Disgusting.
We need to tax billionaires because we hate them, or like we need to give tax cuts to billionaires because they save us, or we need to do that. It's like, what are the policies that we want to support? What do we want to cut from the military? What do we like? That's, I think, the more important conversations.
Cenk?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, unfortunately, this is proving at least part of MAGA's point here, which is Destiny is now defending the Pentagon against cuts. Like, that's the neocons. And then we brought in the neocons, the Liz Cheneys and the Dick Cheneys. I don't.
Wait, should we abolish our entire military?
No, of course not.
And Kamala's a neocon too. She's all about war, 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 war. Let's think about it. Are you kidding me? And Biden, need I say more? Take a look at what's going on around us.
I'm going to tell you what to do in a second. But this idea of like, don't touch the Pentagon.
Wait, I never said don't touch the Pentagon. I just said name what you want to get rid of. I didn't say don't touch it. I just said
so. Like, you're happy to are you happy to have the conversation about cutting the Pentagon first?
If you have a thing you want to cut from it, then yeah, sure.
Okay, so like you're not like, even as a general thing, you're like, well, I'm not sure about cutting the Pentagon. That's amazing to me. So why did I pick the Pentagon? First of all, I would much rather have that than cutting social programs. But more importantly, that's where all the waste is, and that's not theoretical or hypothetical. It's real. They just failed their 7th audit in a row just yesterday. And in the last audit that they failed, they said we can't find $400 billion. Well, if you can't find it, then you're not going to miss it. So that's why I say $400 billion. In 2015, they buried a report that said they had done $125 billion in wasteful spending and didn't know where it went. Not a million, 125 billion. So they're just robbing us blind. The central area of the robbery is the Pentagon. It's not
just
about
when we say this money is gone. Is this like they can't account for it, or is this like there are certain projects that maybe an Office of Inspector General can't have insight to without clearance, so we don't know? Because you're making it sound like the money is just like what they're pocketing it, or what?
I mean, Destiny, you are really outing yourself here. You're showing us who you work for. You're showing us what payroll you're on, my friend. Okay, clearly the Democrats. Because let's face it, everything Cenk just said is completely valid. And guess what party, what administration was that under? Where did all that missing money, 400 billion? I mean, that's Biden's administration. Okay? Not Trump's. Oh, no. So, Destiny, thank you for clarifying who you work for. Democratic operative, just like I said.
They can't account for it. They literally
there is a difference, though, Cenk, between spent on stuff we don't know versus we can't account for it. Those are two different things, admittedly. And I don't know if we have visibility into, is the money gone, or are they not able to account for the program spending?
I can't believe I'm having this conversation with two people on the left.
No, Cenk, to be clear, I'm with you on cutting. I'm with you 1,000% on cutting Pentagon. I even would tell you specific things I would cut. My only gripe is I don't know from what I've seen that when they say unaccounted for, it means spent on mystery stuff. I don't know that that's accurate, but
Well, actually, come to think of it, if they failed 7 audits, that means some of that was under Trump as well. We got problems. We got messes to clean up. I hope President Trump gets it done.
With you 100% on cutting.
And so when Elon asked for specific suggestions, I said, look, the reason I did the conflict of interest on the generals first, number one, every real person agrees. The only people who don't agree are, the corporate guys who are like, oh, well, of course, once we retire, we should be able to take millions of dollars from these different corporations we've been serving all along. So, but in terms of the budget, I said in my tweet, obviously, you'd have to go line by line. If the Pentagon says to me, there's $125 billion in wasteful spending and we don't know where it is, how am I supposed to tell you where it is? They just told us they don't know where it is. So if you give me the details of the plan, look, this is now fantastical, right? And then now, is there any chance that Elon goes, hey, you know what? Cenk's a businessman. He went to Wharton like I did. He's a genuine populist. All right, let's bring him in and let's look at the line items one by one and the Pentagon budget and then take out the wasteful spending. If we did that, do you have any idea how happy the American people would be? And that would be actual unity. They would love it. And we could show them, here's the waste. Here's the thing that didn't work. Here's how they spent 8,000. They did a markup of 8,000% on soap dispensers at Boeing, et cetera, et cetera. Now, are they really going to do that? Probably not. Probably they're going to say, oh.
Look how Destiny just does not want to hear this. I mean, this is clearly proof that he is completely an establishment shill. For real.
oh, yeah, first we're going to cut Medicaid, Medicare, and everything that helps the average man, and we'll get back to the Pentagon later. That's probably how it'll go. But even if that's how it goes, now a lot of the right-wing populists go, wait a minute, I thought you said you were going to cut the Pentagon. I'm in favor of cutting them. Guys, take the win. Right-wing populists are saying cut the Pentagon. This is what we've been dreaming about our whole lives. And now you're against it. That just doesn't make any sense at all. Take the win.
I'm for it. I don't know. I'm certainly not against it. I think the question is, as you're pointing out, at the end of the day, they probably won't do it. If we get people thinking it's a good idea, it still is a win, right, Destiny?
If they cut the Pentagon?
If they say...
Where was he? See what I mean? Total establishment. He is total establishment. He's controlled. He can't even hide it.
Cut the Pentagon?
If they say to Cenk on Twitter, we're going to consider that, and then they don't do it, and then right-wingers go, hey, you said you were going to do it, but you didn't do it. That's still a win of sorts.
That would never, you're implying a world where the right wing has the accountability for literally anything they do ever. Which
they've never done it, but theoretically.
Yeah. I mean, like theoretically, theoretically in a world where I can wave a magic wand.
So I think MAGA has changed in a way that the rest of the country and media ecosystem does not understand. So MAGA in the old days was yes, daddy, harder daddy, right? And so these days, does that wing of MAGA still exist? Absolutely. If Trump, the demigod, says something, they're going to change their position and support him completely. But there is...
I think now I'm starting to think Cenk is on Trump's payroll. Guys, come on. What are we listening to here? The old version of MAGA was, give me more daddy. Hey, daddy, give me more daddy. Now, the new MAGA is, total common sense. I mean, what is he talking about? This is Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks with Anna Kasparian. Is it me? Am I losing it? Or are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? Let me know in the chat because I'm curious.
There is a different wing of right-wing populists now, and I see them openly disagreeing with Trump on Israel, and on several other issues. So, maybe I'm wrong, and then you guys will get to say, oh, I can't believe it. You thought that there was any right-wing populist who actually meant anything and had principles. That's such a joke. They all wound up saying, no, add to the Pentagon. Let the generals take any job they want. Israel first, America eighth. If it turns out I'm wrong about that, and all the right-wing populists were frauds, and they all just fall in line and do whatever Trump demands of them, including following all of his donors' dictates, then okay, I'll own up to being wrong. But I think that right-wing populism does exist, and it will challenge Trump on some things, and probably Israel first.
Yeah, the party that elected the guy who's working with the richest man in the world and has now put him in charge of a faux government agency to cut government spending as this guy enriches himself by tens of billions of dollars. I'm sorry, I'm not buying that one at all. That's an unbelievable position to actually be in. That as much as we might hate the corporate donor class or whatever, and then vote for Donald Trump, who literally received how much media coverage? Like, how much did Elon spend? $44 billion to buy Twitter to turn it into a Trump marketing platform? That's unreal to me that anybody would think that something good is coming from that.
I mean, Elon was loved by the left in the last election. What are you talking about? He was your boy. Now he's bad news because he got common sense? I mean, really? Because he didn't like the way X or Twitter at the time, because he loved Twitter. He didn't like the way it was silencing people. I mean, it's called common sense, Destiny.
All right. Well, listen, we're making predictions about the future. We won't know today whether it will or won't happen. So let's put a pause on the conversation there. Stephen, Kenneth, Destiny, Benel II, and Cenk Uygur. Always great having both of you guys on.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, thanks.
And don't forget David Fudge Pakman. I mean, I just don't understand this guy. Can you guys please explain to me what he is about? I'm just lost. I am so lost in translation alone with Cenk Uygur's transformation. I mean, you want to talk about a digital remastering? I've never seen anything like it. Oh my God. Well, welcome to the party, Cenk. Lord have mercy. Okay, this is a clown show circus that I cannot wait to see how it plays out. All right, I hope you guys had fun on this one with me. I'm Dubrava. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And guess what? I'll see you on the next one. Take care.